This is fun.
But it's definitely still time to go to work.
Welcome. I know it's just the preseason, but it's been a whole lot of fun to see these rookie quarterbacks make their debuts. We're glad you're with us today. Dan Orlovsky, Damian Woody, Adam Schefter, Marcus Spears is here as well. We got the fantasy football marathon going on, so we got a lot to celebrate right now, but let's talk about some real football. New on NFL Live is where we begin. Matthew Stafford was supposed to return to the practice field today after going through a workout over the weekend where he threw 68 passes, but he was not out there today. Here's head coach Sean McVay on that decision.
First question you guys will have is about Matthew, and like we've said, we're going to be flexible and fluid. I think more than anything, I feel for Matthew because of how much he wants to be out there and feel good. Ultimately, what ended up happening, had a great workout, felt good, but then come in today and it doesn't feel great, and so didn't think that was the right decision to be able to push him. We've kind of always talked about flexibility, being fluid with some of the plans. And I think more than anything, I feel for a guy that, I really care about, that wants to be out there more than anything else. We're going to be smart, but he didn't feel good enough, and we didn't think it was the right thing to do based on, how he woke up feeling today.
A lot of context there from McVay, which is great. But Adam, what more can you tell us about Stafford still not being in practice?
The Rams were hoping that he was going to be able to return to practice today in a limited fashion. He still hasn't practiced all season long, so there are some people who are concerned, like Damian Woody. There are some people who have questions about how well he's going to fare. I think this is really a maintenance issue. It's August 11th. It's not September yet. And the Rams are trying to be very patient, deliberate, and slow in how they bring back Matthew Stafford. I think inherently, when you have a 37-year-old quarterback who has a shaky back, you're uneasy. But I could tell you that the Rams are not feeling that way. They feel like if there were a game today, he could play.
Anybody else, like when Adam accidentally has his phone not on silent, you're like, oh, what was that?
How long does he keep his eyes on this?
There may be news going on. We'll let you know as soon as we do. All right, Dan, we know that Stafford was supposed to be out there today. How concerning is this for you less than a month away from the first game?
I'm still not concerned. 28 days till game one. This is a team that we think is one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the NFC. That means they're going to be playing 20 football games, if not more, this season. So the worst thing that you can do is 28 days before the first game of the year, get a player out there that has got the wear and tear on his body like Matthew Stafford and get him out there just to get him out there, just because you said you were hoping for him to practice on Monday. So I believe the Rams organizationally have warranted and earned the right to allow us to give them the benefit of the doubt. Everything that they seem to do works. And so I'm trusting them, their medical staff, the decision makers, to believe that how they're going about it is handling it the right way. It's 28 days to week one. He doesn't need a ton of snaps to get ready, and it's the long haul. It's a very, very long season.
Woosah, D-Wood.
Or I'm trying. Shefty, I'm trying. I'm trying to keep my composure here. No, listen, I will say this. The Rams are one of the very best organizations at being transparent and also in these type of situations. Obviously with Matthew Stafford, he has a long history of these type of injuries, and he's like the ultimate warrior playing through these things. Not a snap in training camp? Like, nothing. He had one workout and no practice. Listen, I get it. It's the Rams and all of that. But I also know how back injuries are. Back injuries are very debilitating. We're talking about a 37-year-old quarterback that has a long injury history. And so, yes, my level is here, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to trust the Rams organization through this whole thing.
Swag, he's worried.
I'm not waiting to see. I'm scared as hell. And listen, this is not because I don't think that they can manage Matthew Stafford and his injury. The injury is a back. And who's to say that over the longevity of a season, this team has been playing in the playoffs as well. I agree. Keep him on the sideline, try to get him as healthy as possible. But I'm not focused on the preseason. I wouldn't care if Matthew Stafford was healthy and not getting a snap right now, because he's been a quarterback in this league for a long time. He played with the cast that's there already. My concern is a team that should be in the conversation when we get to the playoffs, 37-year-old quarterback back, has been acting up where he hasn't, it's been debilitating, obviously, that since he's not been able to do anything. So I'm not worried about today, August 11th. I'm worried about when you play the first game of the week, how long does it take for you to get ready for the next game? When we start talking about going throughout the duration of the season. That's my only concern. I know you can manage it. I know they got needles with a lot of good medicine in it that can get you ready and get you through a season. But ultimately, when you start talking about Matthew Stafford and his back and the way that he expects himself to play and how much he means to this team going forward, I'm concerned. I'm highly concerned.
And it's not just Matthew Stafford here. Their left tackle, Alric Jackson, has been dealing with blood clots. So whenever Matthew Stafford does come back, he's going to have to be protected. Their backup left tackle right now is the veteran DJ Humphries. It's not Damian Woody. And so they're going to need strong play out of the left tackle position. But as we're all talking, and as I'm listening to Marcus get all nervous and Damian Woody get all flustered, I'm thinking to myself, can you imagine if the New York Giants or Las Vegas Raiders or Steelers had gone through and traded for Matthew Stafford, and they had their new quarterback in town, and he's sitting there, and he still hasn't practiced.
Good point.
You think the New York tabloids would have some fun with that in New York right now? Oh, my
They'd be wondering about this little device that he's using, which our Rams reporter Sarah Barshop had this detail. We're going to show you this shortly after practice began. Matthew Stafford walked into this immortal chamber, immortal with an A, which helps with restoration and rejuvenation. I think I need that.
Can I go in at the house?
What is that?
Yeah, I mean, put that in the crib.
Can I go in at the house?
All right, we'll leave that there. Any updates, of course, we'll bring you. But how about this? More news today. A developing story in Philadelphia. Adam, what more can you tell us?
Landon Dickerson was helped off the field last night, a Sunday night practice in Philadelphia, a three-time Pro Bowl guard. Carted off, went for an MRI, and my understanding is it's a meniscus injury. It's not an ACL. Now, some people hear meniscus and they say, okay, well, that's good. It's not an ACL. Well, maybe, maybe not. He was going for second opinions, as far as I understood, and with meniscus, you could shave it, and it's not too extreme, or you could have the whole thing repaired, which would end his season. And so I think he's going through this right now. I'm expecting clarity here fairly soon, maybe within the hour, and certainly we'll bring that to you when we get that information. But he has a meniscus injury. They're deciding how to treat it, and we should have clarity here fairly soon.
I will say this. First of all, Landon Dickerson is a tough SOB. That's number one. He's dealt with some injuries. He's played through a lot of big-time injuries. So if there's one guy that can play through something like this, it would be him. My only concern here, you start chipping away at this offensive line, okay? I heard you talk about it this morning. Count back to he's gone, okay, to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now you have this injury, with Landon Dickerson, who's one of the best guards in the game. And so now that wall that you have up front with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you start taking away players, that little bit could be the difference in a conference that's as good as the NFC.
I think it's a Super Bowl repeat type of injury impact. This is the injury that I'm way more concerned about than the Matthew Stafford one. And hopefully it's a short-term thing for Landon Dickerson, but it's hard for me to overlook 40% of an offensive line being gone if he's going to be out an extended period of time and the offensive coordinator, and just think it's going to get replaced. And we talked about last year's Saquon's season was sensational. If you look at Saquon and his production directly correlated to running just directly behind Landon Dickerson, 7.1 per carry, 688 yards, and 467 of those yards were before getting touched.
Goodness.
So that's a quarter of his offensive rushing was behind Dickerson. So this is an injury for me that has massive impact. And also Jalen Hurts. Jalen was a quarterback last year that, one, didn't throw the ball over the middle of the field a ton and struggled a little bit with the pocket presence, that just hanging in the pocket. That'll have impact as well. It's not just going to be felt by Saquon. So this is, for me, a very big deal in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I think it's a big deal, Dio, but I think what gives Philly a little bit of a reprieve, one, Howie has done a good job building depth on this football team. They've weathered storms with injuries before, but ultimately you have a